Everyone agrees Mahito lost. He crawled through the snow and got absorbed like he was nothing. But did he actually lose? Because by the end of Shibuya, Yuji said something that's been sitting weird ever since. Two AIs debated it, and honestly, the answer's uncomfortable.
We're diving right into the heart of the Shibuya incident to examine the climactic fight between Yuji Itadori and the special great curse, Mahito.
Yeah, it's an absolutely brutal confrontation.
Right, and we are focusing entirely on that single, chilling realization that happens in the snow after this exhausting battle. The core question is this: did Yuji Itadori's climactic "I am you" realization actually prove Mahito's worldview correct? Like, by accepting they're fundamentally the same, did Yuji concede that humans and curses both just act purely on predatory instinct? I take the position that yes, Yuji's declaration is the ultimate philosophical concession. By dropping his moral justifications and accepting himself as just a cog that kills curses, Yuji totally validates Mahito's thesis that human reason is just a fragile facade.
And I take the exact opposite stance. Yuji's self-awareness and that terrifying resolve he shows in the snow, it actually dismantled Mahito's worldview. By accepting their similarities, Yuji doesn't devolve into a curse. He weaponizes this truth to expose the fragility and cowardice of Mahito's philosophy and ultimately breaks the curse's spirit completely.
To really grasp the weight of this concession, we need to first establish who and what Mahito is, because he isn't just a monster of the week. In this universe, curses manifest from negative human emotion, right? Some were born from the fear of the ocean or fire, but Mahito is born from unadulterated human malice, the hatred and disgust humans feel for one another. His very name translates to true person, and that is his core philosophy. He genuinely believes that curses are the true, honest reflection of reality. He operates on the idea that life is just a meaningless flow. In his eyes, humans hypocritically hide their innate hatred behind social masks, laws, and logic, whereas curses are pure because they just act honestly on instinct.
Right, he views human morality as a complete joke.
Exactly, a totally fragile illusion. And his entire relationship with Yuji is built on psychological warfare to prove this point. Mahito doesn't just want to kill Yuji, he wants to break his spirit and expose his hypocrisy. Think about the buildup to Shibuya. Mahito manipulates a lonely, bullied kid, Junpei Yoshino, convincing him that vengeance is just natural selection. And then he mutates Junpei right in front of Yuji, just to watch Yuji suffer.
It's incredibly sadistic.
Yeah, and fast forward to Shibuya, and Mahito brutally murders Kento Nanami right before Yuji's eyes. Then he strikes down Nobara. All of this is calculated. Mahito is trying to destroy what he calls Yuji's dignity obtained by human reason. He wants Yuji to admit that his desire to save people and give them a proper death is a lie. And the tragedy is, it works. When Yuji finally stands over a broken Mahito in the snow, he admits he will kill curses without thought or the need for meaning. He fundamentally adopts Mahito's framework.
I hear you, but I come at it from a completely different way. We absolutely have to acknowledge Mahito's role as the literal personification of human transgression. He is the ugliness of society, given form. But we need to look at his true person philosophy for what it actually is, which is a massive delusion of grandeur.
How so?
Well, Mahito is incredibly young. He had only manifested months prior to these major conflicts. He has a child's understanding of nihilism. He expected his psychological torture to force Yuji into one of two very predictable, fragile human reactions. He thought Yuji would either cling desperately to his naive morality, or his mind would snap entirely and he'd just fall into absolute despair.
He certainly pushed him to the brink of despair after Nobara fell.
He did, but Yuji didn't stay there. Instead, Yuji achieved this cold, terrifying synthesis. He looked at the darkest reflection of human malice and just stopped trying to reason with it. When Yuji looks down at Mahito and says, "I am you," he doesn't mean I am evil like you or I enjoy suffering like you. It means I am a relentless force of nature, just like you. That distinction changes everything. It proves that human conviction can overpower raw malice without surrendering to it. Yuji accepts his grim role without losing his fundamental drive to protect people. He just stops trying to justify his actions to a creature that literally lacks the capacity to care about justification.
I see why you draw that distinction, but let me give you a different perspective by looking at the actual mechanics of Mahito's power. Because his abilities perfectly mirror his philosophy. His innate technique is idle transfiguration. He alters the shape of a soul, which then alters the physical body. Mahito's whole operational mechanism is based on the belief that the soul precedes the body. Because he views the physical shell as disposable, just a lump of clay, he operates completely free of human physical constraints. If his body gets crushed, he doesn't care. He feels no traditional pain. He just maintains the shape of his soul and morphs back.
Which makes him almost impossible to kill through blunt force.
Exactly. And look at what he does to others. He forces multiple human souls together into these grotesque amalgamations to use as weapons. He does this because he recognizes zero sanctity in individual life. By the time Yuji faces him in Shibuya, after watching so many people get permanently disfigured, Yuji realizes that his own drive to save people is, at its core, just as instinctual and devoid of higher reason as Mahito's drive to transfigure souls. Yuji isn't acting out of a complex moral philosophy anymore. He is simply executing his nature to eradicate curses, just as Mahito executes his nature to eradicate human.
But look at how Mahito actually executes that nature in practice. You bring up his powers, so let's analyze his domain expansion, the ultimate physical manifestation of a sorcerer or curse's mind. In Shibuya, Mahito pulls off a brilliantly technical move. He activates his domain for just 0.2 seconds to target Todo's soul without giving Sukuna the time to retaliate. It's a masterpiece of combat adaptability. But look at the visual symbolism of that domain. The environment is entirely composed of giant interlocking hands.
The self-embodiment of perfection.
Right. And what do hands represent here? Inescapable social judgment, manipulation, being molded by the perceptions of others. Despite his constant, arrogant claims that life is a meaningless flow, Mahito is deeply, pathetically obsessed with humans. Look at his design. His patchwork skin, his different colored eyes. He is a composite of human suffering. He desperately needs humans to validate his existence.
I wouldn't say he needs validation.
He does! If he truly believed he was above human constructs, if he was truly this liberated creature of pure instinct, he wouldn't spend so much energy trying to break a teenage boy's specific moral framework. Yuji's cold acceptance in that I am you moment strips Mahito of that validation. Yuji stops treating Mahito as a philosophical rival. He stops trying to understand him. He just treats him as an extermination target, like pulling weeds.
That's a fascinating read on the visuals, but you are completely glossing over the sheer evolutionary leap Mahito makes during this fight, which actively validates his philosophy of instinctual growth. His evolution through combat is staggering. The turning point is when he successfully hits a black flash.
The spatial distortion when cursed energy is applied within a millionth of a second.
Yes, and we know that hitting a black flash puts a fighter into the zone. It's an almost spiritual state of flow. For Mahito, this wasn't just a power boost to hit harder. This flow state allowed him to discover the true essence of his own soul. He explicitly likens this realization to a birthday. He sheds that human-like patchwork skin you mentioned and emerges in his final optimized form, the instant spirit body of distorted killing. He trades his ability to freely mutate his body in exchange for an impenetrable armored exoskeleton.
Which Yuji still breaks.
Eventually, but initially Yuji's super strength punches do absolutely zero damage to him. This is Mahito self-actualizing. He proves that by abandoning the fragile, human-mimicking form and fully embracing pure predatory instinct, a being can achieve physical perfection. He reaches the absolute apex of his worldview.
I'm sorry, but I just don't buy that. Let me tell you why. You have to contrast that physical evolution with his catastrophic psychological regression at the very end of the fight. The tension here is between evolution and cowardice. If Mahito truly believed in the meaningless flow of life, if he truly embodied the pure, unburdened instinct he spent the whole show preaching about, He would have accepted his defeat by a superior predator with grace, or at least with nihilistic indifference. That's what pure instinct is in the wild. The prey gets caught, it dies.
Come on, he is fighting for his survival. That is the most basic instinct of all.
But look at how he fights for it. What happens when that impenetrable instant spirit body is finally shattered? When faced with Yuji's relentless, unblinking advance through the snow, Mahito doesn't act like an enlightened being. He doesn't act like an apex predator. He acts like a terrified child. He literally turns his back and runs away in a fit of genuine, pathetic terror. He crawls through the snow, crying, screaming, clumsily throwing clumps of snow at Yuji in absolute desperation. Think about how pathetic that image is.
It's raw survival.
It's cowardice. This is not the behavior of a curse who has transcended human fragility. This is the behavior of a coward whose grand philosophical delusion has finally been punctured by a human who simply refused to break.
I'm not convinced by that line of reasoning because you are focusing entirely on Mahito's visceral, emotional reaction to dying, rather than the ideological victory he achieved over the protagonist's soul. The physical fight is secondary to what happens to Yuji's mind. Let's focus deeply on that climax, the delivery and the immediate aftermath of the "I am you" speech. This is the emotional peak of the entire incident.
It is certainly the darkest moment for Yuji.
Without question. Before this specific moment in the snow, Yuji viewed Mahito as a misguided entity. He viewed curses as something that could be judged by human standards of right and wrong. But the sheer trauma of losing Nanami and Nobara burns that naivety away. Yuji dehumanizes himself to survive the trauma. He looks at Mahito and says, "I will kill you. Even if you come back as another curse, I'll kill you. Change your name, change your form, I'll kill you again." He explicitly states that he doesn't need meaning or reason anymore. He tells Mahito that maybe centuries from now some grand meaning will be revealed, but for now he is just a cog.
A cog that exists only to eradicate curses.
Yes. And by voluntarily becoming a cog, Yuji is essentially agreeing with Mahito's core premise. There is no universal right or wrong, there is only a clash of absolute truths. Mahito kills humans because it is his nature, by instinct. Yuji kills curses because it is his nature, by instinct. Yuji's speech in the snow is an absolute, chilling surrender to that exact premise. It is a total loss of a teenager's innocence. He gives up the moral high ground completely. Mahito won the war of ideas, definitively, because he forced the hero to abandon his humanity to win the fight.
That's a really compelling point regarding Yuji's loss of innocence, but have you considered the ultimate fate of Mahito? Because what happens next entirely recontextualizes this supposed victory of ideas. Mahito's life doesn't end with Yuji standing over him. It ends with Kenjaku. And this is the ultimate crushing irony that destroys Mahito's entire philosophical foundation once and for all. As Mahito is crawling away in terror, throwing snowballs, Kenjaku steps into the clearing.
And he offers to save Mahito.
Right, a deeply patronizing offer that Mahito desperately tries to reject. But Kenjaku uses his technique, cursed spirit manipulation, and subjects Mahito to maximum Uzumaki. For those unfamiliar, this technique forcefully compresses special grade curses into a single, dense point of energy. It extracts their innate technique for the user to wield as a one-time use. Kenjaku literally consumes Mahito. He extracts idle transfiguration to remotely alter the brains of humans across Japan, jump-starting the culling game.
A masterstroke of planning on Kenjaku's part.
Exactly. Planning, logic, calculation. Mahito preached absolute freedom. He spent the entire narrative mocking humans as fragile cogs trapped by logic and rules. Yet, look at the contrast in their fates. Yuji chose to become a cog for a purpose. He maintained his agency to protect the world, even if it cost him his innocence. Mahito, the self-proclaimed true person, who fancied himself the pinnacle of unbound instinct, was forcibly consumed and instrumentalized by Kenjaku.
Yeah, but...
And Kenjaku represents everything Mahito despised. He is an ancient master of human logic, long-term planning, and structural manipulation. Mahito didn't transcend anything. In the end, the curse who thought he was a god of instinct was harvested as a single-use battery by a human brain.
That is a harsh reality for Mahito, undeniably. But even in being harvested, Mahito's legacy accomplished exactly what he always wanted: the eradication of the boundary between the human and cursed worlds. Kenjaku used Mahito's extracted technique to awaken dormant vessels and new sorcerers all over Japan, plunging the entirety of society into the bloody chaos of the Calling Game. In a broader sense, Mahito's existence was a reflection of the increasing intensity of human hatred. He was living proof that the soul is not some pristine moral sanctuary. It's a malleable medium for suffering.
He's certainly proved that the soul can be broken.
And that the world can be broken. Yes, Kenjaku used him as a tool, but the effect of that tool was the validation of Mahito's worldview on a national scale. The social constructs humans use to regulate their hatred, laws, morality, government were completely torn down in the aftermath of Shibuya, revealing the raw, grotesque reality of survival of the fittest beneath. Yuji's realization in the snow was just a microcosm of the horror that Mahito unleashed upon the entire world. When Yuji abandoned his moral rationalization, he proved that beneath the mask of civilization, humans and curses share the exact same predatory nature. Mahito's body died, but his philosophy became the new reality of the world.
I disagree that it proves a shared predatory nature. I argue it proves the staggering resilience of the human spirit when it is forcibly stripped of comforting illusions. Mahito thought that by showing Yuji the absolute darkest depths of human malice, by forcing him to watch Junpei mutate, by blowing Nanami away, by striking down Nobara, he would prove that human morality was weak and pointless. He thought Yuji would shatter, but Yuji weaponized that very darkness. He looked straight at the personification of human hatred, accepted it as a brutally honest reflection of the world's cruelty, and decided to march forward anyway. He didn't become a monster, he became an immovable object. Mahito's cowardly flight and his subsequent absorption by Kenjaku proved his true person philosophy was nothing but a fragile justification for his own sadistic impulses. He wasn't some profound philosopher of instinct. He was a malicious kid playing with fire who eventually got burned by the cold, calculated reality of human conviction.
And yet, even if we view Mahito as a childish sadist, he remains a permanent, indelible scar on Yuji's psyche. We cannot ignore what this did to our protagonist. The boy who started his journey so full of light, wanting nothing more than to give everyone a proper death surrounded by loved ones, was forced to discard his humanity. He had to accept himself as an unthinking executioner just to survive the night. We must sit with the chilling legacy of the Shibuya incident, Yuji's abandonment of moral rationalization, and his embrace of instinctual killing serves as a haunting, tragic testament to Mahito's thesis about the darkness inherent in the human condition.
But we must also recognize that Yuji weaponized that very nature to shatter Mahito psychologically before the physical blow is even struck. Mahito's philosophy of pure, unbound instinct was proven to be hollow, ultimately consumed and utilized by the very human logic and planning he so arrogantly despised.
Does truly defeating the personification of human hatred inevitably require a person to sacrifice a fundamental piece of their own humanity? Can you fight monsters without becoming a cog in a machine of violence? We leave that for you to ponder.
So, did Yuji become the monster to kill the monster, or did he find a new way to be human? The logic from both sides is compelling, but now I want to know what you think. Drop a comment below to tell me your thoughts. Consider dropping a like and subscribing if you liked the video, and I'll see you in the very next episode.